Every meaningful transformation begins with a single choice, and that choice is to become completely honest with yourself. You can overcome difficult circumstances, recover from painful disappointments, and learn from the mistakes of others. But the hardest obstacle to overcome is the story you keep telling yourself to avoid taking action. When excuses become familiar, they quietly shape the way you think and the way you live. Long before they steal your success, they first steal your belief that you are capable of achieving something greater. Excuses rarely sound like failure in the beginning. They sound practical, logical, and even responsible. You tell yourself you're too busy right now, you'll begin next week, you need more money, or you simply aren't ready yet. Each reason feels convincing because it allows you to stay comfortable without feeling guilty. The problem is that comfort has a way of disguising itself as wisdom, while your greatest opportunities continue to pass by unnoticed. Every excuse you repeat becomes a habit, and every habit slowly builds the direction of your life. Day after day, the small decisions to postpone effort begin adding up. Weeks turn into months, and months turn into years before you realize how much time has slipped away. The dream you once spoke about with excitement becomes something you barely mention anymore, not because you weren't capable, but because excuses quietly replaced action. The greatest tragedy is not making mistakes or experiencing setbacks. The real tragedy is accepting an ordinary life simply because it feels safer than chasing an extraordinary one. Excuses protect you from temporary discomfort, but they also keep you from experiencing lasting confidence, growth, and achievement. Every opportunity you avoid today becomes a regret you may carry tomorrow. The cost is rarely paid immediately, which is why so many people fail to recognize it until much later. You don't need perfect circumstances before you begin moving toward your goals. Success has never belonged to those who waited for everything to line up perfectly. It belongs to those who made honest decisions despite uncertainty, fear, and inconvenience. Progress always begins with one courageous step, even when the road ahead is unclear. The willingness to start is often more valuable than having the perfect plan. Today can become the turning point in your life if you decide to stop defending the habits that are holding you back. Instead of giving energy to excuses, give that energy to learning, improving, and taking consistent action. Every small promise you keep to yourself strengthens your confidence and builds momentum for the future. The moment you stop protecting your excuses is the very moment you begin protecting your dreams, your potential, and the remarkable future that has been waiting for you all along. Success is completely impartial. It does not favor one person over another based on background, education, or circumstances. It simply responds to action, consistency, discipline, and persistence. The principles of achievement remain the same for everyone, regardless of where they begin. Life often presents the same obstacles to different people, yet the outcomes can be dramatically different. One person spends time explaining why something cannot be done, while another begins searching for a way forward. The challenge may be identical, but the response determines the result. Your choices always carry more weight than your circumstances. Years later, these small decisions create entirely different lives. The person who consistently looked for solutions gains experience, confidence, and new opportunities. The person who relied on excuses often remains in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Success is built one decision at a time, not through luck. The world eventually notices results, not explanations. People may sympathize with your struggles, but your future is shaped by what you do, not by what you say. Every successful individual has faced failure, rejection, fear, and disappointment. They simply refuse to let those moments define the rest of their lives. Instead of blaming the economy, bad timing, or difficult circumstances, they accepted responsibility for what they could control. They focused on improving their skills, strengthening their mindset, and taking the next step forward. Responsibility became the foundation upon which they built their success. Every challenge became a lesson instead of an excuse to quit. Every excuse postpones the reward that discipline is trying to bring into your life. Each day you choose action over hesitation, you move one step closer to the person you want to become. Discipline may ask for effort today, but it always pays you back with confidence, growth, and lasting success tomorrow. The sooner you stop making excuses, the sooner success begins to move in your direction. Pay close attention to your daily routine because it reveals the truth about your life more honestly than your words ever can. Anyone can talk about big dreams, but your habits quietly tell the real story. They show what you truly value and where your time and energy are being invested. Every single day leaves behind evidence of the person you're becoming. Many people say they want success, better health, financial freedom, or personal growth. Yet when the moment comes to make a choice, they often choose comfort instead of progress. They postpone the difficult tasks and settle for what feels easy in the present. Over time, those repeated choices become the foundation of their future. Your habits are like tiny votes cast every day for the life you will eventually live. One decision may not seem important, but hundreds of similar decisions shape your character and determine your direction. Success is rarely the result of one extraordinary action. It is usually the reward for ordinary actions performed consistently over a long period of time. The smallest habits often appear too simple to matter. Reading just a few pages each day, exercising for half an hour, learning one useful skill, or saving a little money may not create dramatic results overnight. But these consistent actions slowly build knowledge, strength, confidence, and security. What seems ordinary today can become extraordinary after months and years of faithful effort. The opposite is also true. Small excuses may seem harmless, but they grow stronger every time you repeat them. Skipping today's work, avoiding today's responsibility, or delaying today's opportunity slowly becomes a habit of postponement. Weak habits never stay small. They quietly expand until they begin controlling your future instead of serving it. Discipline is the force that transforms simple daily actions into remarkable achievements. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you strengthen your character and move closer to your goals. Your future is not created by what you hope will happen someday. It is created by the choices you make repeatedly, one day at a time, until those choices become the life you once only imagined. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect feeling before they take the first step toward their dreams. They believe they need to wake up inspired, confident, and full of energy before they can begin. As long as they don't feel motivated, they convince themselves that today simply isn't the right day. Without realizing it, they allow their emotions to decide the direction of their lives. The truth is that motivation is one of the most unreliable forces you can depend on. Some mornings you feel excited and ready to conquer the world, while other days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. If your actions depend entirely on your feelings, your progress will always be inconsistent. Feelings change quickly, but your goals remain the same. The people who achieve extraordinary results understand a lesson that many never learn. They don't wait for motivation to appear before they get to work. They make the decision to act first, even when they don't feel like it. They know that commitment is far more dependable than emotion. Something remarkable happens once you begin moving forward. Completing even a small task creates a sense of accomplishment. That accomplishment builds confidence, and confidence encourages you to keep going. One productive action naturally leads to another, creating momentum that becomes stronger with each passing day. This is why action creates motivation instead of the other way around. The more progress you make, the more excited you become about continuing the journey. Success leaves clues, and one of the biggest clues is that movement creates energy. Waiting drains your enthusiasm, but taking action fills you with purpose. If you only work when you feel inspired, you will accomplish far less than you are capable of achieving. The greatest victories belong to those who continue showing up even on the difficult days. Discipline takes control when emotions become unreliable, and it keeps you moving forward until success becomes a habit instead of a hope. The day you accept complete responsibility for your life is the day you begin to reclaim your personal power. Until that moment, your future remains tied to circumstances, opinions, and events beyond your control. Responsibility is not a burden meant to hold you back. It is the key that unlocks your ability to change what comes next. Many people misunderstand responsibility because they confuse it with blame. Blame keeps you looking backward, searching for someone or something to hold accountable. Responsibility, however, keeps your eyes on the future. It asks a simple but powerful question: what can I do now to improve my situation? That question alone has the power to change your entire life. There will always be things you cannot control. You cannot rewrite your past, choose the family you were born into, or prevent every disappointment that comes your way. Life will present unexpected challenges to everyone, but no matter what happens, you always have the ability to choose your attitude, your response, and your next step. The moment you stop blaming the economy, your upbringing, difficult coworkers, bad luck, or unfavorable circumstances, something remarkable begins to happen. Your focus shifts from problems you cannot solve to opportunities you can create. Instead of wasting energy on frustration, you invest that energy in learning, improving, and taking action. That shift alone can completely transform the direction of your life. Every successful person eventually reaches a point where they stop waiting for someone else to rescue them. They understand that lasting success is built from personal responsibility, not perfect conditions. They develop new skills, strengthen their character, and continue moving forward even when life is unfair. They realize that progress belongs to those who take ownership of their choices every single day. Power always follows responsibility because ownership creates action and action creates results. Excuses, on the other hand, surrender your power by placing your future in the hands of circumstances. The more responsibility you accept, the stronger, wiser, and more confident you become. When you take ownership of your life, you stop being a spectator of your future and become the person who creates it. Comfort rarely announces itself as a danger. In fact, it often feels like a reward you have earned after working hard or facing challenges. It quietly whispers that one more hour of sleep, one more day of waiting, or one less effort won't really matter. That gentle voice feels harmless, but over time, it can become the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you truly want. It begins with small choices that seem completely insignificant. You decide to skip today's workout because you'll exercise tomorrow. You postpone reading that book because you'll have more time next week. You delay starting an important project because you believe you'll be more prepared later. None of these decisions seem serious on their own, which is exactly why they are so dangerous. Comfort has a habit of growing stronger every time you obey it. One missed opportunity makes it easier to miss the next one. One postponed goal becomes another, until delaying action becomes your normal way of living. Before long, what started as an occasional excuse becomes a permanent lifestyle, quietly stealing your ambition and limiting your potential. Discipline works in exactly the opposite direction. One small act of courage leads to another. Every time you choose action instead of comfort, you strengthen your confidence and develop greater self-control. The effort may feel difficult today, but each disciplined choice makes the next one a little easier, creating momentum that carries you towards success. Many people believe comfort leads to happiness, but lasting fulfillment comes from growth, not convenience. The satisfaction of accomplishing something meaningful is far greater than the temporary pleasure of avoiding effort. The challenges you face today become the very experiences that shape your character, expand your abilities, and prepare you for greater opportunities tomorrow. The life you dream about is waiting on the other side of the decisions you have been avoiding. Growth begins the moment comfort loses its influence over your choices and purpose takes its place. When you decide that your future is more important than your temporary convenience, everything starts to change. Every courageous step you take moves you closer to becoming the person you were always capable of becoming. One of the greatest illusions people believe is that there will always be more time later. They convince themselves that next week will be less busy, next month will be less stressful, or next year will be the perfect opportunity to begin. This belief feels comforting because it removes the pressure to act today. Unfortunately, time has never made promises to anyone, and tomorrow is never guaranteed. The word later has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. Later quietly becomes next month, and next month turns into another year before you even realize what has happened. The goals that once filled you with excitement slowly fade into distant memories. You don't lose your dreams all at once, you lose them one postponed decision at a time. Life never stops moving while you are waiting for the perfect moment. Seasons continue to change, opportunities come and go, and the world keeps advancing with or without your participation. Whether you feel ready or not, the clock continues to move forward every single day. The question is not whether time will pass, but whether you will make that time count. Many people delay taking action because they believe everything must be perfectly planned before they begin. They wait until they know every answer, eliminate every risk, and feel completely confident. But perfection is an impossible standard that keeps countless people trapped in hesitation. Those who accomplish great things understand that progress always begins before certainty arrives. Imperfect action today will always produce better results than perfect intentions that never leave your imagination. Every successful journey starts with an uncertain first step. Along the way, experience teaches what planning alone never could. Confidence grows through action, not through endless preparation or waiting for ideal circumstances. The clock has never paused for anyone, and it never will. Every minute you spend making excuses is a minute that could have been invested in building a better future. Start with what you have, where you are, and give your best effort today. One day you will either look back with gratitude because you acted, or with regret because you waited too long. The choice is being made by the decisions you make right now. Fear rarely arrives looking like an enemy. It doesn't always announce itself with panic or obvious doubt. More often, it disguises itself as logic, caution, and common sense. It quietly convinces you that waiting a little longer is the smartest decision you can make, even when deep inside you know it's simply another way of avoiding action. It tells you that you need more experience before you begin. It whispers that you should gather more information, wait for better timing, or prepare just a little more. While preparation is valuable, fear often hides behind endless preparation so that you never actually take the first step. Before long, planning replaces progress and dreams remain trapped in your imagination. Fear also encourages you to avoid every possible risk. It makes comfort feel like security and convinces you that staying where you are is the safest choice. But the truth is that refusing to grow carries its own risk. Every opportunity ignored today becomes a possibility that may never return, and every chance left untouched slowly fades away. Some of the greatest achievements in life were accomplished by people who were afraid but refused to let fear make their decisions. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means choosing to move forward even when uncertainty is standing beside you. Every meaningful accomplishment begins with someone deciding that fear will no longer be in control. Real growth has always required stepping into the unknown. Every new skill, successful business, rewarding career, and fulfilling life begins with moments of uncertainty. If everything felt comfortable and predictable, there would be no reason to grow. The challenges you face are not signs to stop. They are invitations to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. Never mistake fear for wisdom simply because it speaks in a calm voice. Learn to recognize when your doubts are protecting you from real danger and when they are merely protecting your comfort. The people who achieve extraordinary lives are not fearless. They simply refuse to let fear become their leader. Move forward with faith, take the next step with confidence, and let your actions become stronger than your doubts. The quality of your life is greatly influenced by the quality of the questions you ask yourself every day. Your mind is always searching for answers, but it can only respond to the questions you give it. If your questions are filled with doubt, blame, and frustration, your thoughts will naturally move in that direction. But when your questions are focused on growth and improvement, your mind begins searching for possibilities instead of problems. When something difficult happens, it is easy to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" While that question may seem natural, it often keeps your attention locked on disappointment and self-pity. A far better question is, "What can this experience teach me?" That simple shift transforms every challenge into an opportunity to learn, become wiser, and grow stronger than before. The same principle applies when you think about success. Instead of asking, "Why am I not successful?" ask yourself, "What skill do I need to develop?" This question immediately moves your focus away from excuses and toward personal improvement. It reminds you that success is not something you wait for, but something you prepare yourself to achieve. Questions determine where your attention goes, and your attention determines the actions you take. When your focus stays on solutions, you naturally begin looking for books to read, mentors to learn from, habits to improve, and opportunities to grow. Every positive question creates a pathway toward meaningful action. Little by little, those actions begin shaping the future you desire. People who remain stuck often spend their energy asking questions that justify their circumstances. They ask why life is unfair, why others are luckier, or why nothing ever seems to work for them. These questions may provide temporary comfort, but they rarely produce lasting change. They encourage excuses instead of responsibility and keep people trapped in the same patterns year after year. Those who become successful develop the habit of asking empowering questions every single day. They ask what they can improve, what lesson they can learn, and what action they should take next. They understand that every great achievement begins with a better way of thinking. Ask better questions, discover better answers, take better actions, and you will steadily build a better life. Many people underestimate the incredible power of consistent effort because the results are rarely visible in the beginning. They expect success to arrive through one big opportunity, one lucky break, or one dramatic moment that changes everything overnight. When those moments don't appear, they become discouraged and give up too soon. They fail to realize that lasting success is usually built quietly, one small step at a time. The truth is that small daily improvements have a way of multiplying over time. Reading a few pages each day may not seem life-changing, but after a year, you have gained the knowledge contained in several books. Saving a little money each week may appear insignificant, but over time it creates financial stability and peace of mind. Tiny actions repeated consistently always produce results that surprise those who ignore them. Imagine improving your attitude by just 1% every day. Choose to become a little more patient, a little more grateful, and a little more optimistic than you were yesterday. Those small changes influence your relationships, your decisions, and the way you respond to life's challenges. A stronger attitude becomes the foundation for greater opportunities and lasting success. Now imagine increasing your knowledge by 1% every day. Learn one new idea, develop one useful skill, or study something that moves you closer to your goals. You don't have to become an expert overnight. As your understanding grows day by day, your confidence expands, your value increases, and doors begin to open that were once closed to you. The same principle applies to discipline. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you strengthen your character. Waking up on time, finishing what you started, exercising consistently, or completing one important task each day creates momentum. These victories may seem ordinary, but together they build extraordinary confidence and resilience. Success rarely arrives through one giant leap that changes your life forever. More often, it is the result of thousands of small victories that no one else notices. Every disciplined choice, every lesson learned, and every positive habit becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. Stay faithful to the small things, because one day you will look back and realize they were the very things that made all the difference. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose confidence because it pulls your attention away from your own progress. Instead of appreciating how far you have come, you become distracted by someone else's achievements. You begin measuring your beginning against another person's years of hard work and experience. That kind of comparison is never fair, and it often leaves you feeling discouraged for no good reason. What you usually see in successful people is only the final result, not the countless struggles that came before it. You don't see the sleepless nights, the repeated failures, the moments of doubt, or the sacrifices they made behind the scenes. Every accomplished person has faced rejection, uncertainty, and disappointment at some point. Success is not proof of an easy journey. It is proof that they refused to give up. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you overlook the unique path that has been designed for your own life. Your experiences, talents, and opportunities are different from everyone else's. Trying to follow someone else's timeline only creates unnecessary pressure and frustration. The goal is not to become someone else, but to discover the best version of yourself. Real progress begins when you focus on improving a little every single day. Ask yourself if you are wiser, stronger, more disciplined, or more patient than you were yesterday. Small improvements may not seem impressive in the moment, but they build a life of remarkable growth over time. Your greatest competition has never been another person. It has always been the person you were yesterday. Celebrate your own victories, no matter how small they may seem. Every lesson learned, every habit improved, and every obstacle overcome is evidence that you are moving forward. Progress is deeply personal, and it cannot be measured by someone else's accomplishments. When you recognize your own growth, your confidence becomes stronger because it is built on truth rather than comparison. Your journey deserves your complete attention because no one else can live it for you. Keep your eyes on your purpose, your goals, and the person you are becoming each day. Let others inspire you, but never allow them to define your value or your potential. Stay committed to your own path, and with patience, persistence, and daily improvement, you will build a life that reflects your own unique success. Every decision you make carries more weight than you may realize. There are no truly neutral choices because every action is moving your life in one direction or another. Each decision either strengthens your character, your knowledge, and your future, or it slowly weakens the foundation upon which your success is built. The future you experience tomorrow is shaped by the choices you make today. The books you choose to read, the conversations you engage in, and the way you spend each hour all influence the person you are becoming. A single chapter read today may introduce an idea that changes your thinking forever. One meaningful conversation can inspire a new goal or open the door to an unexpected opportunity. Small moments often have the greatest impact because they quietly shape your mindset over time. Many people believe success is created by one extraordinary event or one lucky opportunity. In reality, those remarkable moments are usually the result of years of consistent preparation. Long before success becomes visible, it is being built through disciplined habits, wise decisions, and steady personal growth. Great achievements are rarely accidents. They are the natural outcome of daily commitment. Every ordinary day presents countless opportunities to move closer to your goals. Choosing to wake up on time, complete your responsibilities, learn something new, or help someone else may seem like small actions. Yet each one becomes another brick in the foundation of the life you are building. When repeated consistently, these simple choices create extraordinary results that others often mistake for luck. It is easy to underestimate the value of today's decisions because their rewards are not always immediate. Discipline often works quietly, producing results that become visible only after weeks, months, or even years. The same is true for poor decisions. Their consequences may not appear right away, but over time they begin to shape your health, finances, relationships, and opportunities in ways that cannot be ignored. Before making any decision, ask yourself whether it is leading you toward the person you want to become. Let your future guide your choices instead of your temporary emotions or convenience. Make decisions that build confidence, strengthen your values, and move you one step closer to your purpose. One day, your future self will look back with gratitude because you had the courage to choose what was right instead of what was easy. Excuses have a way of sounding comforting in the moment. They tell you that skipping today's effort won't really matter and that there will always be another chance tomorrow. For a little while, they help you avoid discomfort, responsibility, and hard work. But as time passes, that temporary comfort slowly transforms into disappointment because the opportunities you ignored never return in the same way. Discipline speaks with a very different voice. It never promises that the journey will be easy or that success will come without sacrifice. Instead, it asks you to do what is necessary even when it feels difficult. Although the effort may seem demanding today, discipline always rewards you with something far greater than temporary comfort. It rewards you with freedom. The freedom created by discipline reaches every area of life. It helps you build a stronger and healthier body because you choose healthy habits over harmful ones. It helps you become wiser because you consistently invest time in learning and personal growth. It also creates financial stability because disciplined decisions with money produce lasting security instead of short-term pleasure. One of the greatest gifts discipline gives you is confidence. Confidence is not created by positive thinking alone, or by repeating encouraging words to yourself. Real confidence is built every time you keep a promise you made to yourself. Each commitment you honor reminds you that you can be trusted, and that trust becomes the foundation of lasting self-belief. Every disciplined action, no matter how small, is like making a valuable deposit into your future. Waking up on time, finishing an important task, exercising when you don't feel like it, or choosing to learn instead of wasting time all contribute to the life you are creating. These actions may not produce immediate rewards, but they continue growing in value with every passing day. The future you dream about is not built through occasional moments of inspiration, but through daily acts of discipline. Every choice you make today is either investing in your future success or withdrawing from it. Choose the path that strengthens your character, expands your potential, and brings you closer to your purpose. In the end, discipline will always cost less than the regret of knowing you could have done more, but chose not to. The people you spend the most time with have a greater influence on your future than you may realize. Their attitudes, beliefs, and daily habits quietly shape the way you think and the choices you make. Whether you notice it or not, you naturally begin adopting the standards of the environment around you. That is why choosing the right environment is one of the most important decisions you can make. If you constantly surround yourself with people who complain, make excuses, and avoid responsibility, those behaviors slowly begin to feel normal. At first, you may disagree with their mindset, but over time, repeated exposure weakens your own standards. Mediocrity becomes acceptable because everyone around you has learned to settle for less. What once seemed like an excuse eventually starts sounding like reasonable advice. On the other hand, when you spend time with people who are committed to learning, growing, and improving themselves, their mindset begins to influence yours. They encourage you to think bigger, work harder, and expect more from yourself. Their discipline becomes contagious, and their positive example challenges you to raise your own standards. Growth becomes the new normal because excellence is expected rather than admired from a distance. Your environment is more than just the people around you. It also includes the books you read, the conversations you have, the content you watch, and the ideas you allow into your mind every day. Everything you consume is shaping your beliefs, either strengthening your confidence or feeding your doubts. Be intentional about what you allow to occupy your thoughts, because your mind grows in the direction of its greatest influence. Never be afraid to step into environments where you feel challenged instead of comfortable. Growth often begins when you are surrounded by people who inspire you to become better than you are today. High expectations may seem demanding at first, but they awaken abilities you never knew you possessed. Every new level of success requires a new level of thinking, and the right environment helps make that possible. Protect your environment as carefully as you protect your dreams, because the two are deeply connected. If you want a stronger future, create surroundings that encourage discipline, integrity, learning, and personal responsibility. Choose relationships that inspire progress instead of excuses and courage instead of fear. When your environment supports your highest potential, success becomes not just a possibility, but a natural outcome of the person you are becoming. Change has never been easy because every meaningful improvement demands effort. Learning requires the humility to admit that you do not know everything, and growth asks you to leave behind familiar habits that no longer serve you. Discipline often requires sacrifice, whether it is giving up comfort, distractions, or immediate pleasure. Yet these temporary challenges are small compared to the lifelong cost of refusing to change. Many people avoid change because they focus only on what they must give up. They think about the extra work, the uncertainty, and the possibility of failure. What they fail to consider is the price of staying exactly where they are. Remaining the same may feel comfortable today, but over time it often leads to missed opportunities, unrealized potential, and deep regret. Imagine where your life could be just 1 year from now if you replaced every excuse with one meaningful action. Instead of saying, "I'll start tomorrow," you begin today. Instead of complaining about your circumstances, you invest your energy in improving your skills and your mindset. Those small decisions, repeated consistently, could completely transform your future in ways that seem impossible right now. The distance between the life you are living and the life you dream about is often much smaller than you think. It is rarely separated by luck or extraordinary talent. More often, it is separated by the excuses you continue to protect and the actions you continue to postpone. Every excuse creates another step away from your goals, while every disciplined action brings you one step closer. There will be moments when discipline feels uncomfortable. Waking up early, staying focused, working while others are resting, and continuing when motivation disappears are never easy choices. But that discomfort is temporary. As you grow stronger, wiser, and more capable, the sacrifices that once seemed difficult become the very reasons you gain confidence and achieve lasting success. The pain of discipline fades because it leaves behind valuable rewards such as confidence, freedom, and personal growth. The pain of regret, however, has a way of staying with people for years because it constantly reminds them of what could have been. Choose the temporary discomfort of taking action today, rather than the lasting disappointment of wishing you had started sooner. Your future is shaped not by the excuses you keep, but by the courageous decisions you make every single day. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize they can no longer continue making the same excuses. It is the moment when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of changing. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission to chase your dreams because you finally understand that no one else can live your life for you. That decision becomes the beginning of a completely new chapter. For too long, many people blame their circumstances, their past, or the opinions of others for where they are today. While those challenges may be real, they do not have the authority to determine your future unless you allow them to. The moment you stop giving your power away to outside conditions, you begin taking back control of your own destiny. Responsibility becomes the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Your future is never built by the promises you make to yourself about someday. It is built by the choices you make when today demands action. Every habit you practice, every lesson you learn, and every disciplined decision you make becomes a vote for the person you are becoming. Day after day, those votes shape your character and eventually shape your entire life. Stand each morning with purpose and remind yourself that your actions matter more than your intentions. Replace every excuse with one meaningful step forward, no matter how small it may seem. Replace hesitation with commitment and replace fear with confidence gained through consistent effort. Progress belongs to those who continue moving even when the journey feels difficult. The life you dream about has never been beyond your reach. It has been waiting patiently on the other side of discipline, persistence, and personal responsibility. Every time you choose growth instead of comfort, you move one step closer to becoming the person you were created to be. Feed your dreams with daily action instead of feeding your excuses with endless reasons to wait. Success has never been hiding from you, nor has it been reserved for only a fortunate few. It has always been waiting for the day you decide that your future is more valuable than your excuses. When you make that decision with all your heart and refuse to turn back, your confidence grows, your habits change, and your life begins to reflect the person you always knew you could become. The greatest victory starts with one courageous decision: to act today and never allow another excuse to steal the future you deserve.